Before we begin, pause. So many beginnings feel rushed, like we're already behind before we even started. But today, we're doing something countercultural. We are slowing down. I invite you to take a sip, not just of tea, but of permission. Permission to exhale. Permission to not have it all figured out. Permission to begin without pressure. This tea talk is about reinventing yourself. It's about realigning with yourself because grace doesn't shout, grace whispers. Welcome to Tea Talk, where conversation meets grace, pouring wisdom one cup at a time. I have a reflection question for you. When you stepped into this year, did you feel hopeful or heavy? When you stepped into this year, did you feel hopeful or heavy? Let's set the tone for the year. At the beginning of every year, there's a collective noise. New year, new you. This is the year I'm cutting this off, starting that up, doing it all. But grace invites us to ask a quieter, wiser question. What do I need in this season? Not what looks good on paper, not what worked for someone else, but what sustains you. Some seasons call for building, others call for healing, while others call for resting without guilt. And here's the truth we don't talk about enough. You can't begin well if you don't begin honestly. I'll say that again. You can't begin well if you don't begin honestly. What season do you feel like you're actually in right now? As we ease into this conversation, I want to pause right here and share something with you. I have 3 tips about beginning the year with intention that I'd like to share with you today. Not to overwhelm you, not to add pressure, and definitely not to give you another checklist. These are gentle guides, anchors you can return to whenever the year feels noisy, heavy, or uncertain. Think of them as reminders, not demands. So let's start with the first one. Tip number 1: begin with clarity and not chaos. Clarity is an act of self respect. Before we add goals, habits, or commitments, we must clear space. Clarity begins by looking back, not with regret, but with wisdom. Ask yourself, what drained me last year? What energized me? And what did I tolerate that I've now outgrown? Sometimes chaos isn't external, it's internal clutter, unspoken resentment, unresolved disappointment, overloaded calendars, unrealistic self talk. This year, clarity means choosing alignment over approval. Now, let's reflect on this. What is one thing you know deep down no longer fits who you are becoming? What is one thing you know deep down no longer fits who you are becoming? Letting go isn't failure, it's refinement. Many of us enter the new year already tired, not because we didn't rest, but because we carried too much emotional weight from the year before. Grace asks us, why are you still holding on to that? Who told you it was yours to carry? And what would lighten your load? Clarity requires courage because it asks us to choose peace even when it disappoints others. What would change this year if you stopped over explaining your boundaries? What would change? Here's your second tip: set rhythms, not resolutions. Resolutions focus on outcomes, rhythms focus on consistency and compassion. A rhythm says, I will return to this when I drift. I don't quit, I recalibrate. I honor progress even when it's slow. Some examples of rhythm could be a morning moment of stillness, a weekly personal check in, a habit of pausing before responding, or choosing rest before exhaustion forces it. This year doesn't require intensity, it requires intentional repetition. So I ask you, what small rhythm could support the life you're trying to build this year? No one prepares us for the middle of the year. We're just supposed to have it all together by the middle, right? The middle is where motivation fades, where life interrupts, where plans shift. Grace lives in the middle. Grace says you're allowed to pause. You can pivot without shame. You don't have to prove anything to continue. When things don't go as planned, don't shame yourself. Steady yourself. Tip number 3: lead with grace, starting with yourself. Lead with grace, starting with yourself. You see, grace is not weakness. Grace is wisdom, which is applied daily. Before you lead your family, before you lead your business, before you lead your classroom, or even before you lead your community, you must lead yourself well. You have to lead yourself well first. Grace allows room for learning without judgment, growing without comparison, and rest without apology. Extending grace to yourself doesn't lower standards, it protects your humanity. So, if grace had a voice this year, what would it say to you when you feel behind? If grace had a voice this year, what would it say to you when you feel behind? Let that voice guide you forward. As we close this tea talk, I want you to hear this very clearly. You are not late. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are becoming. This year doesn't need to rush. It needs you to remain rooted. So begin again with clarity, with wisdom, with rhythm, and with grace. Here's to a year where we sip slowly, choose wisely, and move intentionally. Until next time, keep your cup full, keep your heart steady, and remember grace is always on the menu.